Hey everyone, my name is Shauna and welcome to the 6th figure review on my channel. Today we will be looking at the 1/7 scale Hololive Productions Inugami Korone from Spirit Tail and Taito. I bought her from AmiAmi for a total of $186 including shipping. Ouch. But she is still available for purchase, and honestly, she's worth it. She may be available elsewhere, but AmiAmi is my go-to shop of choice and I highly recommend them. Do you smell that in the air? Freshly baked bread, croissants, and melon pan. Oh, right, Korone is like a bakery dog or something. As easy as it is to forget her lore, that is the explanation for the bread if you were confused. Either way, our retro game-loving, slightly crazy and adorable idol Inugami Korone takes the stage with a beautifully designed and sculpted figure. If you're here just for my final verdict, buy her. 9.5 out of 10 figure. I'll explain the 0.5 drop later, but for the rest of you, let's get right into it. I did an unboxing for this figure since she actually came with accessories, if you want to call them that. Check that out for a more detailed look. Otherwise, everything was nicely secured and well packaged, and the box itself looks great. The figure is easy to put together, but a bit difficult to take apart, so if you need to repackage her for whatever reason, just be very careful. You better not resell her. So far, out of the initial trio of Hololive scale figures to be officially released on the market, Korone's stands out to me the most. The designers gave her a wonderful pose that matches her personality, and the overall flow, composition, and dynamics of it is basically perfect. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's start at the head and work our way down. The translucent hair. This is why I knocked the score down by 0.5. I didn't lower the score by much because in the end this is a personal preference of mine. I just don't really like the look of it. I don't see why they couldn't have just used the same kind of plastic they use for her ears for the rest of her hair. But I'll stop rattling on about it because I'm sure some of you don't even care. Otherwise, perfection. Perfection! The bones are well done and even have a slight shading to them. Her eyes are clear and sharp, her mouth is cute and well molded, and the nose and chin aren't too sharp or pointed. A very good expression here. Moving down, well, what can I say? It's all perfect. They nailed everything to the sharpest T. The collar, the details of the dress, the ribbons on her jacket, the wristbands, and even the painting on her fingernails. And look at this zipper detail. And then the tail. Look at it all. Look at it. Everything flows so cohesively here and is just an absolute spitting image of her model. I couldn't ask for better. Down to her legs, again, the sculpting, great. And that shading around her knees. Then the socks and the shoes and everything is done just so well. I'm so happy with how this figure turned out. And of course, I know some of you care, so here is the lowest angle. Now, part of me is starting to wonder why I review some of these more modern day figures. The quality these days has reached a point where what you see in the promo photos is what you get. Absolutely exquisite figure. And it only gets better. From what I can tell, Spirit Tail is a subsidiary of Taito, or just a part of the company, I'm not entirely sure. But when you go onto their page on AmiAmi, they seem to be a relatively new line of figures coming from that group. Or at least it appears to be that way from the small selection of figures available. And from what I can see, they put a lot of effort into their figure bases. And I very much appreciate that. It's not necessarily rare, but it's not common either. And I get why. It's cheaper to make a plain plastic base with no design or a simple one. And I know that's why this figure is more expensive than the other whole life scale figures like Aqua and Fubuki, but the quality and extra value this base adds just makes it so worth it. It makes the figure feel whole, even sporting her lesser used Yubi greeting, and the paw print is even slightly elevated. Each piece of bread is a whole solid piece of plastic that looks good in its own right. Again, these are very tightly secured in place, so I will not be taking them out to give a better view of them. The base is just a shell here at the bottom, but that is common practice and expected. Now, size comparisons. First, we'll put her alongside her fellow Whole Alive member scale figures Minato Aqua by Kotobukiya, review coming soon, I promise, and Shirakami Fubuki by Luminous Box. They all look great together, although slightly off scale, but in the end, it's fine. And I'm looking forward to expanding my collection of scale Whole Alive figures. Marin's hopefully gonna arrive by the end of the year, with Shion on the way next year. Now onto the usual. 1/4 scale Haruhi Bunny version by Free, 1/10 scale Sento from Beach Queens Live by Wave, Papa Parade Dark Magician Girl, the Nendoroid Yang Weifei, and my previous review 02 Bride. 10 out of 10? Should I just let this translucent hair go and give it a 10 out of 10? Yeah, I guess so. This figure is a no-brainer for any Korone fan. Yes, she is on the more expensive side, but I don't see another Korone scale fig coming out soon that'll be this good. Although, that is basically an uneducated guess based on nothing at all. I mean, they've already released a new and better Aqua scale figure that I'm still on the fence about getting since I already have a fig of her. Korone has a Papa Parade figure and a Nendoroid if you are interested in something cheaper. I personally am not getting any of the Papa Parade or Nendoroid Hololive figures because that would just break my bank. I had to pick one category of figures to collect and I chose the scale figures. There honestly isn't much else to say about this figure. It's perfect. Literally perfect. Translucent hair bothers me. I honestly don't like it, but this figure is just so good I can let it pass. Not to mention the fact it is barely noticeable once she's on a shelf. And, well, there you have it. One of the best overall figures I own to date that is under the $200 price point. I can see this figure going quick and rising in price in the aftermarket, so get her before it's too late. My next review will either be the Mashed Ortonax version by Quest Q, Aqua by Kotobukiya, or Chizuru Mizuhara by B-Box. So subscribe if you want to see those in the future. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next review.